tennis used to look different. In fact, talk to any casual player over the age of 50 and you'll probably find that they were all taught to do the same thing, that graceful, effortless-seeming one-handed backhand. Rosewall, Edberg, Graf, and of course, how could we forget Roger Federer? Safe to say, the one-hander has been a staple stroke for some of the biggest icons in our sport. But not anymore. With Wawrinka's looming retirement, Tsitsipas's decline, and Musetti's own dip in the rankings, there's not a single one-handed backhand in the top 10, and only 6 in the top 100, if I'm counting correctly. On the WTA side, there's only 3. And to further confirm how the plight of the one-hander is looking, both Musetti and Federer have said things like this.
I would probably teach my kid as well to play a double-handed backhand today.
Even my dad taught me the two-hander growing up, but I still had this nagging curiosity of what actually happened to the stroke. So I turned to Pat Cash, who actually won Wimbledon back in 1987 playing with that one-hander, to figure out exactly what happened. We started with a bit of background. The single-hander was pretty much the norm from the invention of tennis.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of the stock standard backhand to teach. There wasn't a lot of double-handed players before my era, before I was growing up, so I didn't really have anybody to model myself on. Bjorn Borg, Chris Evert, I mean, you can't get more glamorous two players than that, and then you got Jimmy Connors, a ruthless player, double-handed. So boom, 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 3 legends, and they changed the world of tennis.
The data shows this. In 1974, Jimmy Connors won Wimbledon to become the first two-handed backhand champion ever. From 1976 to 1980, hybrid two-hander Bjorn Borg won it 5 years in a row.
Bjorn Borg had two-handed backhand to there and then let it go. It was a single-handed backhand.
What was the logic behind that?
Well, he only needed 2 hands for the strength at contact, and after that, you just followed
just
through.
let it go, okay.
You didn't have to follow through there, and it makes sense. Hit it like that and follow through. Why do you have to go all the way across the other side of your body?
Borg managed to combine the strength and stability of the two-hander with the range of motion of the one-hander, which maximized power and also gave him the versatility to do almost whatever he wanted with the ball. Him and Connors really started something. From those days on, it's been almost one-way traffic in favor of the two-hander. Okay, but it can't be that simple and straightforward, right? That little uplift in the mid-2000s, well, that represents the influence of Roger Federer. But even the most elegant player of all time couldn't slow the decline.
I'm the same as Musetti. I have 2 sons. I taught them both double-handed backhands.
Like I said earlier, I play with a two-hander myself. So to understand why the shot is falling out of favor, and perhaps to also redeem myself from some absolutely awful experimenting I did on the channel earlier this year, I had to get Pat to show me how it's done. Single-handed versus double-handed look totally different, but how different do the strokes actually play?
The double-handed backhand is half a single-handed backhand and half a left-handed forehand.
Right, yeah, so that's the mechanic of the shot.
So you're sitting half a backhand and half a forehand.
Let's see if I can actually learn this shot.
A single-handed backhand?
Yeah, let's do it.
If I make 5 of these in a row, will you sign some books for me?
Yeah. If you make 5 in a row, I'll definitely sign some of my serving book for you.
All right, you're on. Okay.
I'm not sure if you can, but I reckon I'm safe. You want to look cool and have a big swinging backhand, right?
I mean, come on, how could I not?
Yeah, he wants the fluid Roger Federer, Stan Wawrinka. The first thing you want to do if you want to look like them is when you follow through, it's a bit like a golf swing. When you're following through, imagine a left-handed golf swing, right?
Okay.
But you take your left hand off. So what you're doing is you're basically showing your chest and your hips to the opponent. There's where you want to finish. You need this left glute as your power. The biggest muscle in the body, you need to be using that. Boom. You know, you see Federer like this, right? Yeah, it's a classic.
No, it's the iconic photos.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he uses that left glute. So you need to find power somewhere. You haven't got it in the arms, right? So you haven't got that little extra power in the arms because you're going with the other hand. You need power. Your power comes from your body, not really from your arm, a little bit. So if you catch it with your left hand, that's where you want to hit it. Yeah. You line it up, you got a chance to line it up, and you want to hit it there.
The contact point isn't too dissimilar. What makes the difference, I was learning, is how you use your body weight and how you maximize power with the bigger follow through.
You need to get your body weight through. So this is boom, and that follow through gives you more power than a double-handed backhand. If you get it right.
Well, we were about to see if I could get it right.
Yeah, that was a beauty. Yes, now you got the balance.
I feel like all of these are relatively flat. Can you hit heavy topspin with this? Or what do you do when the ball's up high?
You got to roll the wrist
I'll be honest, I was struggling and getting a bit frustrated myself at first, but once I connected on a few of those one-handers with perfect timing, I mean, wow, like there is no feeling in tennis that's more addicting than that. And playing these shots, I started to understand why this is such a timeless style.
The slice backhand is more natural. For me, I used a lot of wrist, and that created a lot of freaky shots that players just didn't expect. So you had some single-handed backhands with like McEnroe, just a freakish touch, and you can never pick what they're doing.
And this goes for specific plays too.
The one shot the single-handers have advantage over everybody else is the inside-out backhand. This is the shot that Becker was unbelievable at, Edberg was unbelievable at, I was unbelievable at it, McEnroe was unbelievable at, Sampras was unbelievable at as well. And that is because we were able to hit what's almost a reverse topspin. That's the exact shot you need from that corner, which is just about the toughest shot in the game. And the single-handers can do it.
Yeah,
almost better.
Easier to execute that shot compared to the double-hander.
Possibly, yes.
I would say
yeah.
Hitting that same shot with the double-hander, it's all wrist, and I feel like you're kind of pushing
Yeah.
the ball, but this you're able to drive the ball.
Yep, and you can hit as hard as you like and it'll just go inside out.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of the single-handed backhand.
That side spin too was something
you
else.
got a reverse. It's a reverse spin. We hit that shot and we came in the net. So that was a return, stock standard return to the forehand side. The toughest play in tennis, and I'm telling you, bar none, is to hit a backhand return inside out to the forehand court and come in. And if you can do that to an opponent, you'll win.
According to Pat, this isn't really something you see from modern players. But why not, if it's such a great strategy?
The single-handed backhand is the more powerful backhand because you can actually take a bigger swing. You can actually rotate more.
Simply put, that power relies on timing. Wawrinka or Gasquet are some of the most powerful single-handers we've ever seen on tour, but to generate that power while still controlling the ball, they had to stand way back in the court.
Well, I think there's a few things that really restrict with the single-handed backhand, and I think it helps to have muscles. A lot of shots are above your head, particularly on clay, on a hard court. It's just two hands versus one hand, you know, and when you're up high or you're stretching, you need a little bit of help. Other hand just gives that extra advantage when you're on the reach or in the stretch.
The one-hander might give you more room for rotation, but the two-hander is more versatile. You can pick up the low ball, the high ball, take it early, or take it late. I found that the two-hander also eases some of the pressure on timing, and that it maybe lends itself better to play on all the different surfaces.
That's a great thing about double-hander. You don't have to take a risky full swing to get as much power. Statistically, biomechanically, scientifically, single-handed backhand does have more power, but at the pro level, it doesn't really, because you never have that much time.
It also depends on who you're playing. Take Nadal, who played with such insane topspin that he could often neutralize Federer's backhand, putting the ball outside the single-hander's ideal zone. Of course, Federer being Federer, he was able to compensate.
So you're extending, you're using that big muscle. Yeah, there you go.
And this goes back to some of those topspin backhands Pat showed
Whoop,
me.
that's tough. Whoop, there you go, you got it.
But that's the thing. Was this the most convenient change to make? It might have worked against Pat's hand feeding, but against one of the greatest topspin forehands of all time, it gets trickier. And the power and spin with which players hit today means that those ideal single-hander circumstances, the perfect timing, the easy bounce into the one-hander's strike zone, might be few and far between. I have to say, if it works, it's one of the greatest shots in the game. But that if just isn't enough in modern tennis. Part of its demise is practicality. When you're a junior player, you're weaker and the racket's relatively heavy. Two hands at that age just makes sense to build the shot. And it just so happens that the habits you take up as a junior can apparently stick like glue. We have to bear in mind something that really stands out to me. I'm not exactly a doctor, but what gives with the rise of injuries? Everybody seems to accept that the tours are more injury prone than they used to be. From what I've been told and what I've observed myself, the increased physicality of the game is one of the main culprits. More so, there's been a specifically noticeable uptick in wrist injuries, especially when you compare to, say, the early 90s to the mid-2010s. Let's bring that graph back. In the last 30 years, as the one-handers have become rarer, wrist injuries have increased relative to other arm injuries like shoulder or elbow. A lot of those are actually in the non-dominant wrist, the same wrist used in the two-handed backhand. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think these injuries will outweigh the shot's advantages. Still, it's something to consider, especially in light of Carlos's ongoing wrist problem. There's always a trade-off. The one-hander is a tricky shot, but it's a beautiful one too. And if it ever dies out completely, I think we're all gonna miss it. As Pat showed me, there's a real art to it. And I even managed to land 5 of them in a row.
I think you owe me some books.
You do? I do.
Guys, Pat just dropped a new book. It actually did help me with my serve. He's kind of a guru when it comes to this tennis stuff. Wimbledon champion and everything, right?
Yeah, well.
If you want one of these, I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below. And if you want to improve your tennis game, this is actually gonna be a great resource for you. Check it out if you want.
Thanks, mate.
I had way too much fun working with Pat on this video, and let me tell you guys, he's absolutely a legend. If you want his book about unf***ing your serve, drop a comment and I'll pick a few lucky winners down below. Until next time, keep going for the lines.